Ha ha ha. We're stepping on some toes today. Most people could have a totally different body inside of 6 months. But what's in the way? Well, then why aren't we doing it? Because there are so many big ass egos that think everything's totally fine. I was one of them. But we're going to wake you up today. I was a fat bitch. I was a pussy victim bitch. I'm so sorry. But it's the truth. And let me start with just saying this. I'm no different. I'm no better. These are my first 2 weeks sober in a year. I'm no different, you drunk bitch. I'm no different, you fucking pothead. Stop getting ready to throw stones at me. I know I come off like an asshole, but I'm actually not. In fact, do you have a podcast helping people get fit for free? I didn't think so. Shut up and listen. I love you. I'm just joking. So I have a timeline. I have a graph I'm going to share with you that I feel like if you just bear with me and you trust me and you trust that some of this may make sense and I might know what I'm talking about. Hold on. Annual credibility check. So sorry if that was not modest. But I might know something. You know who doesn't believe me sometimes? My mom. She roasted me, grilled me when I went to visit her this last week. We were in the middle of her move, and I'm like, aren't you so glad? Because I'm like helping her move stuff. I'm like, I flew across the country. I flew from San Diego to Virginia to help her move. You know why? Because my mom needed me. It was really inconvenient to me, but have you ever said no to your mom? You think that she wouldn't spiritually and cosmically check the fuck out of me and basically tell me I would be going to hell if I didn't help her? Then you don't actually have a mom like mine. And that's okay. It's just that everyone's got their own flavor. She lovingly also has an enormous ego. She passed that on to me. I just had to kill mine off really quickly not too long ago. So let's talk about 4 or 5 things that really matter in fitness. And I'm going to illustrate a little graph for you that may help you connect some dots. It just might help you get fit. It just might help you communicate to other people why they should get fit and why I would argue it's most people's personal obligation and responsibility to be a fucking positive, decent human being. One that is sentient, one that cares, one that is active, positive, and delightful to be around, and not a negative, judgy, moody bitch. With that being said, let's get into the shit that matters. So I was telling my mom, I'm like, aren't you glad? I'm like going fucking helping her move and shit. And I'm like, aren't you glad, me and my vanity-driven self apparently, aren't you glad that you have a fit son who can help you, will go drive an hour to help you pick up stuff and then take you back? Aren't you glad that your son is capable and fit and energized? And she said, at this point in the trip, we're like 2 days in. And she's like, I couldn't care if you were fit or not. I care about the quality of how you are as a person inside. And I was like, man, that's bars. Too bad it's fucking invalid. Because some fat bitch son would be like, Mom, I need to relax a little bit. Can I just chill out? I need a nap. I need some Chick-fil-A and some ice cream. I'm so tired. Oh, not right now. Oh, I'm sleepy. I need a nap. I'm low blood sugar. I need a cookie. I was like, aren't you so glad that you have a son who is fit and capable? And she was like, doesn't matter. It's not all about vanity and how you look, Yusuf. And this is a common excuse I hear from most people. And my mom, I would never question. I love that woman to death. I'd get hit by a train for her. I would. If it meant that she got to live, I wouldn't do. I'm sure we can both relate as to how much we would do for our mothers, right? But man, do I have some things that really matter for you that I was able to take away from that conversation. Man. And none of this is meant to disrespect my mother. I would rather punch myself in the face than disrespect my mother, but I think it's something that we can relate to. as to how fucking unbearable some conversations can be when you step on some people's toes about fitness, getting in shape, because most people have such horrible mentalities as to what it means to be in the gym and exercising and taking care of yourself. I posted on my Instagram story. This is before I get to that, let me tell you exactly why that conversation was so inflammatory and why I'm speaking about it. Most of you know I'm a big mama's boy. Most of you guys know this. So we get in the car, we're driving to go after, like I said, aren't you so glad that I'm so fit and capable and energetic and I can do this because I intend well for myself? My mom is brilliant and she says, no, it matters. It's about what's inside. And I'm like, what the fuck? Fuck kind of bullshit is that? What the fuck? No, because if someone really loved themselves and they were smart and intelligent, they would work out not for how, she said, it's not all about vanity. It's not about how you look. And I understood why she said that, because I had just earlier said in some Instagram stories, and I expressed to her, came back to work out at my hometown gym that was supposed to be a really nice bodybuilding gym. And motherfuckers was ugly there. No disrespect. They were just aesthetically displeasing, like unpleasant to look at. They were fit. People in Arlington, Virginia, Northern Virginia, I think Arlington, Virginia, where I'm from, is actually one of the fittest cities in the United States. But it's not like fit like San Diego fit, where everyone is intentionally superficial and sharing how gorgeous they look and tan, and they put intention behind the way that they appear. Arlington fit, Northern Virginia fit, near DC fit is like everyone works out for their mental health. Like they're there for the physical well-being. They're there to invest in themselves. They're not doing it to be egotistical or vanity driven like the people I would say in Southern California are, as the primary motivator, because it's like beach season most of the year around here. I let my mom know. I was like, man, no wonder I didn't try that hard when I was here. Everyone's fucking ugly. And that's no disrespect. It's just kind of like if I were to go from one place that has a nice physical appearance about it, where there's beautiful chapels, amazing architecture, there's culture, and then I go to a place that lacks that, I'm going to be able to notice because I have fucking eyes. So I'm like working out at my hometown gym day after day of travel. I'm working out there, and then I'm like, God damn, no one gives a fuck about how they look here. Like, no drip in sight. Completely void of drip. I mean, motherfuckers is working out in loose t-shirts that were like 13 years old and like old gym shorts that are like 50 years old. And like, they were healthy, but there's no one that's massively obese. Everyone's there, and you can tell that they're really trying. But Northern Virginia is just a very intelligent place. You can tell everyone there either works for a tech place or they work for the government, and they're a drone. And they're just there because their mind is super sharp and that they can think a lot, whatever. So everyone there is just smart, and they fit in this little nice, tidy, intelligent box in that area. So I told my mom, I was like, man, I was working out, looking around, did 1 or 2 sets. There was no bitches. I'm working out. It's a fucking sausage fest in there. And it's a bunch of mid dudes that are kind of fit. And I'm like, this is not motivating. None of them even look nice so that like they even give a fuck. And so I just start ranting on my story. And I'm like, man, I was spoiled in San Diego. I didn't realize how everyone makes a point to be attractive and like actually give a fuck. And just like, you know, has some form of fashionable drip sense. Yeah, absolutely not in Northern Virginia. Absolutely not. I'm sorry if you're listening to this and you're from there. Fucking if the shoe fits, bitch. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So this ties into a few things, because that sounds crazily egotistical and vanity driven and superficial. It's not. I hope that you would, you know, we have fucking eyes, right? Do you pay attention to how you look, and do you try for you so you can look good and feel good? Then cool. I love you. Me too. But anyway, I'm telling my mom, and my mom, like, she hears that, and it's like chalkboard in her ear, nails on a chalkboard. And she's like, man, Yusuf, it has nothing to, like, it's just me. She thinks I'm mean by saying that. But if you know, you know. And if you get it, you get it. right? I mean, it's common sense, I feel like. I don't think this is even that out of pocket to say. So I'm like, basically, I said, don't you feel like, and I posted it on my story and I said, man, it really matters when people like try and they attempt to be at least remotely aesthetically pleasing. I think it feels nice. It's nice on the eyes. I don't mean to like, say you should be sexualizing everyone. I'm just saying it's nice if you fucking pay attention. And I don't have to look at a fucking eyesore. Anyway, so I'm like, aren't you glad that your son's fit and able-bodied and capable and energetic? And she's like, no, it has to be with the inside. I'm sorry. Have you ever met an ugly bitch who is fat and sad and depressed that you've wanted to be around and you wanted to have help you move? What? I can't be the only one thinking this or saying this. And I'm not saying it in a superficial way. I'm saying it in a do you have eyes way. So I'm saying this, and then we get into this disagreement. And I'm like, no, wouldn't you say an intelligent person who is like, hey, I said that I work out for my mental health. I don't work out for vanity. That's a huge plus. I work out for strength and to appear like I'm competent at things, like I'm capable, like I know I'm capable. That's why I do it. It's real-time feedback that you're capable. You know why? Because at first you're not, and then you try it, and then you persevere, and then you do it. It's the exact metaphor that weightlifting is. At one point you couldn't, now you can, you are more capable. That is progress. Crazy. So if that's not a great metaphor of intent, discipline, trying, action, wanting the best for yourself, despite it being difficult, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. I don't know what is. It's learning. It's physical learning. It's the body physically learning what it can and can't do. And then how beautiful is this? It goes to work on recreating and repairing itself for you because your body is working even when you don't think it is. How crazy is that? So we got in this argument and I was like, no, wouldn't you just say that at a baseline level of intelligence, someone who works out deliberately for how they feel, not once did I ever say vanity, but wouldn't you say that anyone who has a brain or eyes would be like, wait a second, certain indicators inside internally are going off that are alarms telling me I should try better, look better, feel better for myself. Now, I'm not going to try and double cross what I just said because I acknowledge that everyone's standard of beauty is different. I acknowledge that. I'm not, where these people that I thought were so ugly at one point or so aesthetically dis-fucking pleasing to my fucking eyes, I'm sure they were on their own journey, and I don't actually mean things to them, and I don't actually think those things. I just went, damn, geography be fucking funny like that. Like San Diego cares. Northern Virginia really do not be that much. So anyway, I said, wouldn't you think that this matters? And then my mom is someone who has struggled in her fitness journey, despite the fact I would say she's a remarkably intelligent person. And she does not, she gives me the excuses a lot of times. A lot of times I'm actually speaking to her and my best friend, my old fat best friend, in my content because I want to be the voice that encourages people to do it despite the fact it's difficult and your huge ego will get in the way. So anyway, I start saying, no, don't you think it's just intelligent to be working out? Like, don't you think it's just you have one body and you should try to keep it well? And then she literally puts in headphones while I'm in the car driving her and starts playing Bach, classical music Bach, on her AirPods. And she does this. I said, don't you? And then she, before I could finish, shouts, quiet. And I'm her son. I'm visiting. I'm making playful conversation. But here's the funny thing. This goes into the four things that matter. I'm like, wait a sec. And I was stunned. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, why would my mom be so triggered about this? It's playful conversation. I think I might know something about it. And she's like, So she's silent for a little bit. And I at one point, 10, 15 minutes later of silence, I go, I'm like, hey, you would really rather shut me out and tune me out than have a difficult conversation with me about this? You really think I don't know something about this? Like it's not my job or something? And she goes and basically tells me and expresses where that might have hurt her. And it clicked. And I went, oh, yeah. And one of my assumptions was that her ego, a literal code for her reality, her personal reality, certain things I said conflicted with her personality, her personal reality, her code, her ego, the way that she views the world. Because I have a really unique lens of that. If you aren't trying to be fit on a daily basis, I think you're fucking stupid. And I don't think that it's your fault if you aren't trying and you generally don't know. I think people don't know what they don't know. And we hit invisible ceilings. We have blind spots. And a lot of us don't know how easy being fit is. That's why I've got this list of things I'm going to share with you. If you got sent this, maybe someone thought that you needed to hear it. If you got sent this or you see this and you want to send this to someone, I would love that. Because I feel like this wording and this perspective that I'm about to break down is the way that everyone can find solace and peace and comfort in fitness. What a crazy way to tie that together, because it might have seemed vanity-driven and egotistical, but each time I've ever talked about working out, I've talked about how I see the world as a better place after I exercise. And I wouldn't just say those things and not give you the tools also to match that. So lo and behold, this list also was inspired by some conversations I have. I may give some anecdote as to what happened and how I came up with some of these points. And without further ado, let's get into a little bit of the mess, a little bit of the noise, a little bit of the drawings, the scribble. And I hope I can give you some value out of this. So one last thing on a personal note. Look, we're all real people. We are all trying our best. I started at the beginning of this saying that I am 2 weeks sober. I don't know if you can tell, but my thought track, I would hope, is far more clear, and it is much more focused and precise, as opposed to me being stoned. I quite literally have been stoned every day for the past year since moving to California because I'm a human and I have demons too. If I can do this as a pothead, as an idiot, then I would give you some credit that you can do this as well. Okay? Okay. So, without further ado, I wrote 5 to 10 things that I think really matter. These are general statements that I feel like could add perspective into your fitness journey. And most importantly, I'm hoping that this gives you some form of direction and clarity as to how you can use these tools and bake them into your own life, because that's all I can ask you to do, right? So, number 1, family matters. If you are a fat bitch and you're confused on fitness, how are your parents? Are they fit? What's their relationship like to fitness? You would be surprised how much of this is genetic, and not in the sense of, oh, I'm fat because my dad's fat, I have the genes of a fat person. Oh, I'm fat because my mom is fat, I have the genes of a fat person. I'm talking about these 2 pillars, these 2 role models in your life. What are their views on fitness? You probably bought their views on money. You probably bought their views on what they think that you should do with the rest of your life, right? Aren't these the 2 leading adults that would give you some form of path and future to model after? Isn't that what parents are supposed to be? If you're fat, if you're ugly, if you feel like shit, if you have a tumultuous relationship with food, how is your parents' relationship with food? What did you see? I hear horror stories. Anecdotally, as a gym general manager, I've met plenty of parents. I've met plenty of kids. And then even my own dad was the kid who ran away from his fat hometown. He gave me the greatest gift he could possibly give me, which is a different future, one that he did not want for himself. And he passed it on to me. Many ways in which I was reluctant to receive. I took a lot of his advice in fitness and nutrition and how I should eat as like nails on a chalkboard. Why? Because it voided my feelings. It completely invalidated the way that I felt, the way that I wanted to feel about food. I wanted to enjoy food as a kid. I was a wrestler and I lifted weights, and I wanted to eat whatever I wanted. Why? Because I was a teenage boy and I could. And I was always very active if I wasn't playing Call of Duty or skipping school. And I had abs. I just wanted to eat whatever I wanted to eat. And he told me at a certain point that won't work for you anymore. I didn't believe him. Man, motherfucker was right. So family matters, but even more so than that, consider your environment. Consider your mental environment. Also, Think about this. If you're some people may be having ahas is like, oh my God, my dad actually has a really bad relationship with fitness. He thinks it's stupid. He's never really spoken positively about it. Oh my God, my mom hasn't really spoken about fitness very positively. And no wonder I almost kind of borrow some of the same mindset. Or even when I try and I try and I try and I let these complaints escape me and I tell people my frustrations is that I want to be fit and I want to eat healthy and they think it's stupid. Is that family? Have you ever heard that genius is your ability to believe that your own thought, your private thought is true, and perhaps that you give too much weight to the opinions of others, teachers, parents, and other peers as opposed to genuinely listening to what you want? Have you considered that? Have you considered your environment? One of my favorite illustrations is, let's just say you have a thought bubble, okay? This is your thought bubble, this is your head, and these are all of the thoughts that you could have. These are 100% of your thoughts. But what goes into it, have you considered what that is? Other people's opinions, what your parents have said, what teachers have said, what friends have said. Have you considered what your thoughts are, and are they even yours? Have you considered this? If 40% of what you think is negative bullshit about how you can't because you hear it and see it, do you not think that this compromises your ability to think fully, clearly, and positively about the fact that you can do it? I don't even have my eraser. I'm going to use my $100-something hoodie to use it because I don't care. I don't care. That's how much I love you. I don't want to waste any time getting up and going to get an eraser. So have you considered the thoughts? Your environment is what makes what goes into your head. It's what you see, what you think, and what content and information you ingest goes into your world. Take it from someone who's had to shed that shit. What do I know? What do I know? Nothing. Number two, consider family. So number one was consider family. Family matters. Your environment matters. How are your parents? How are your siblings? What's their narrative? And then do you want their results? Like actually. All right, cool. Number two, this might be abrasive. When it comes to the realm of fitness and nutrition, most people have no clue what they're doing. Okay? Do you want to know how I know? Because look at them naked. Do any of them look good? Looking good, naked, and being positive versus looking like a glob of melted ice cream and thinking negatively, there's an in-between here, is a clear visual indicator. I mean, think about it. One, do you see the statue of David in beauty, sculpted out of marble, and you fawn over it and you recognize it in your eyes as beautiful? Or do you see melted ice cream? Imagine if a man who looks like melted ice cream is approaching you for a hug. Do you ick? Okay. We've distinguished what we feel beauty and sexiness and positivity is. So most people have no idea what they're doing. One, use your eyes. A lot of people don't know that they don't know that other people don't know what they're doing. Worse yet, even worse is that people may think that the people who look like shit know what they're doing. Fuck! What? I mean, what? We have eyes. We have eyes. We have eyes. I'm not saying that you should have a six-pack to know what you're doing, but I would say it is a clear marker of genuine self-care, and someone caring for themselves, and dare I say, intelligence. When you do it right. Because if an intelligent being is in a vessel and in a body, wouldn't you think that they consider how to best fuel it and curate it in a way that is physically and energetically pleasing to where the manifestation of the body is actually appealing to the eye? And I'm not denying that there ain't motherfuckers on their journey, but I mean, at some point, people will have the talk about I look and feel like shit, and they'll try something, and then they'll give up, and they'll keep going the down, 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 the down to down, the down to down negative route, and they'll go, this is okay, I deserve this. I don't want anything about how you think at all. I don't want it. Why? Because you're not even taking care of the one person in your body that you're responsible for. I'm sorry. It takes an only child who has helped people transform to be able to say this. I'm just saying. It takes a unique vantage point. Now you know. Now we're on the same page. If you want to argue with me, DM me. And then have a profile photo, have pictures of yourself, and then look and appear positive. So many people. I remember the first time I heard hypothetical is hypocritical, because if it were that way, you'd be doing it. Then why aren't you doing it? It is always, it's always a no profile photo, negative bitch who'd be saying some shit who's like, easy for you to say. Actually, the way that tablet, shut the fuck up. You have no fucking results. Shut the fuck up. I'm so sorry. So number 2 is most people have no idea what they're doing. Now, I'm going to segue that into number 3. Number 3 is it's not their fault. Aww. Most people have no idea what they're doing. Number 2. Number 3 is it's not their fault. Because I don't believe any positive, genuine human being would want negatively for themselves. No self-loving individual would. No self-loving individual would deliberately self-sabotage their own life form. Why would anyone argue for lower results? Why would anyone argue for anything other than complete love, compassion, and accountability? I just don't understand. It's not their fault. Why? Why is it not their fault? Do you remember that little drawing? Woo! I almost dropped my energy drink. Remember that little drawing I just showed you? Because most of the shit that was on the whiteboard I just had is contaminated with a bunch of problems that people have passed on to someone else, because our brain is wired to look out for problems, and we unintentionally see and then identify with the problems. Now, that's cool for a little bit, but at a certain point, then there's just personal responsibility, and it's up to you to be able to solve this shit, right? Because you know why? When it's negative, it's a little addictive, but when it's negative, it actually, you should have some form, if you were intelligent, of notification that, some shit is not going well. I need to fix it. If you have half a fucking brain, I'm just saying. So it's not their fault. Why? Look at the landscape. Restaurants. First of all, have you watched Kitchen Nightmares? Consider it. I like to eat burgers and fries, and then brunch, and then drinks, and then I like to eat this, and then I like to have fried foods, and then I like to have the lowest quality food that was preserved and cut up about a month ago, and it's fucking so dead, and it's it's completely void of nourishment, and some fat chef and some business mogul has to cook it, cut it up, fry it, douse it in oil and seasoning so I actually like it, and I put it in my fucking body. Because otherwise, if I really knew how it was transported and made, I wouldn't actually eat it. But look at restaurants. Look at grocery stores. 80% of grocery stores is full of bullshit. It's not even fucking real food anymore. I'm not a fearmonger. I'm a fucking realist. Look at the landscape. I had someone who I always say who I love, because whenever people confide in their problems and tell me what they struggle with, I think the confidence that they use to share that information is the seed of success, and it is the seed of opportunity to learn, because their confidence in sharing the thing that makes them vulnerable is the very gateway to how they're going to learn, because they're presenting information, getting it out of them, and they're willing to debate it, wrestle with it, go to conflict with it, and pull it apart and inspect the validity of what they believe to be true. So I had someone who said, how do I stop drinking the soda? I just can't. This is a Mexican household. How do I stop drinking the soda? I just can't stop drinking the soda. And I'm like, go drink diet soda. And she's like, I can't. And I said, I can't even drink real soda. I don't think I've ever drank real soda. I said, what is soda? Long pause. She's like, I've never thought of it that way. What even is it? Look at the landscape. When did we plant the seeds of soda, wait for it, water it, harvest it, and then collect it for our nourishment and well-being? You fat bitch. Lovingly. No one cancel me for that one. But it's like, people don't even know what the fuck they're eating and drinking. It's not their fault. Look at the landscape. Follow the money. I mean, you gotta think about when soda first came. It was probably like, yo, what the fuck? This shit is amazing. And then we got fat. It wasn't as simple as that. But as soon as we started veering away from what is actually given to us by Mother Nature and Earth in its most simple steps is when we started to become fat fucks. Why? Because we're trying to, give me that soda. Fuck. You fat bitch. Look at you. Just fuck you. I mean, what the fuck is that? Soda. Look, there are amazing aspects of science, like caffeine, energy drinks, etc. And there's also parts of it that the more you learn about the landscape of food, restaurants, and realizing that most people who put products in front of you have no fucking interest in your health. No genuine interest in your health. Fuck. And you know what? I have number 4 as something, but I want to give you number 4 as a different thing. And it's, no one is going to feed you the good shit besides yourself. Nobody. Number 4 is absolutely nobody is going to feed you the good shit besides yourself. And the people who do feed you good shit, you better go jack them off. Not me. I'm good. But other people, go for it. Number 4 is, no one's going to feed you the healthy shit besides yourself. And yeah, I know, look, a lot of trainers on Instagram and TikTok are fucking assholes, man. They'll basically go, I'm better than you in this way because of this. But they better back it up with some practical action. No one's going to feed you the shit besides yourself. You better bake that into your head. Number 5, you really only need to do a few things to get fit. Isn't that cool? Wait. Really hear me. You really only need to do a few things to be fit. Would you believe me if I said that was true? Shall we discuss it? Line graph time. Okay. Perhaps number 6 could be the line graph, but I'm going to pair it with the body will take care of itself, and it will do it involuntarily, whether you know it or not. And your body has all the contents and tools to transform itself just based on critical thinking and using the food that Mother Nature gave you. It is my assertion, I believe I read this in Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, that the gods would not give you the tools that would conflict you without also providing you the equal resources and solutions on the very same planet and within the contents of yourself. I don't believe the makers, the software engineers of the world who created the system, I don't believe that the people and the God that did this, the souls, the beings, the universe, the stars, I don't believe that they gave you this to make you miserable, fat, ugly, stupid. I believe they wanted to make you weapons of kindness and goodness and wellness and beauty and amazing accomplishment. I believe that that's what they gave you. And I believe that our human body, our own beating heart, and our own two seeing eyes, and our sexual reproductive organs, and our amazing legs, and our amazing arms, and our veins, and our heart that beats, I believe all of this is here for us to have an amazing, incredible physical human experience. And I believe it's a little bit of a video game. You'll run into things until you don't. And it is up to you to exercise your free will and your positive contemplation to be able to create and manifest the life that is positive and fulfilling and giving to you in a way that connects you to God. And most importantly, yourself. Oneself. Because when you get yourself, you get everybody. So the stuff. You only need to do a few things. Okay? You only need to do a few things. You need to Fuck, is that backwards? Damn it. I'm going to go backwards then. Fine. Woo! You need to exercise. Then you need to eat well. And then you need to think and talk positively. That's mindset. Exercise, eat well, and then think positively. Now let's talk about this little line graph I'm going to share with you, and then I'm going to show you something interesting, I feel like. So you've got this little line graph, okay? Let's call this to the extent in which you learn and grow as a person. And let's call this time and progress over time. Okay? For most people, when they exercise, eat well, and talk positively to themselves, I mean, you get some progress, right? You should be, I'm going to spitball this, but I'm going to show you the design. For exercise, you should be weightlifting and training 3 to 5 days a week. It's not rocket science. Then you should be stretching and recovering, repairing your muscles, right? A tight muscle is not an anabolic one. You should be learning about your body. You should be learning how to stretch and recover and basically what your muscles are. You should be strength training. And then you should also work to train your heart and your lungs. Basic cardio, maybe 2-3 days a week for 20 to 30 minutes, 10,000 steps, or take your VO2 max, your age minus 20, 180 minus your age, and then stay in that for 20 minutes to 30 minutes. And you're okay. Do that 20, 30 minutes, maybe 2-3 times a week. That's a huge plus. But you can also walk 10,000 steps a day, you fat bitch. Sorry. So exercise, weightlift 3 to 5 days a week. You should learn how to stretch and recover your muscles, and then you should be training your heart and lungs. Right? And then eat well, okay? You should be eating your protein goal, ideally from animal protein. Whatever your goal weight is, eat that in grams of protein. So take your goal weight divided by 35. That's how many servings of protein you need to eat every day. That's your body's rent. Then you need to be having your vegetables. That is like your skin, digestion, hair, and nail rent as well. That is your immune system rent. That is your positive energy rent. You should be having 2 fistfuls of vegetables every day. Cabbage, slaw mix, carrots, Brussels sprouts, lettuce, sliced jarred peppers that are sliced, like red peppers that are sliced in a jar. Greatest hack because bell peppers go bad way too quickly, and I always forget to cook them and chop them up because too many fucking seeds. Way too much mess, and nobody got time for that. And then carbohydrates. Whatever your goal weight is, eat between 50% of your goal weight in grams of carbohydrates to 100%. And if you go above that, it better be naturally occurring carbohydrates, you fat bitch. Okay? Protein, vegetables, carbohydrates. And then don't be a fat bitch. Don't go over. Don't go over the shit you don't fucking need. You know why? Because you don't. Stop being a sugar rat and be fucking for real. Be for real. Oh, I really need it. You don't need a Reese's. You don't. You don't. You don't. Eat a banana and dark chocolate. Anytime you say, but I need ice cream, take your shirt off. Go. You need ice cream? You look like it. Anyway, be fucking for real. Be fucking for real. Anytime you say, but I need, and then it's man-made, slap yourself. You're not a sugar rat. You're a human. Be for real. Plan in advance. Grocery shop. Prepare. Protein, vegetables, naturally occurring carbohydrates, and be fucking for real. Don't be a fat bitch, and don't be a sugar rat. And now lastly, TTP. I'm going to go back into that graph, and I'm going to tell you what the main blockage is for most people. TTP. Talk and think positively. Sleep. Journal. Why? Because if you do not make the deliberate mental effort to think positively for yourself and to insert positive intelligence and information that serves you in your head, nobody else will. I mean, you think Joe Biden's going to do it for you? Fuck! Look at our leading health officials. If you don't do it, they won't. Why are you waiting on someone else to do it for you? Read. Invest in yourself. Meditate. Think positively, deliberately. Train it like a muscle until it's a habit for yourself. Until negative things with no solution give you the ick. When negative things with no solution, or that are basically a situation that someone complains about that is completely in their control, until it gives you the ick, do not stop. Oh, I can't go to the gym because it's just really hard and I'm scared. Do it scared anyway. But everyone's looking at me. You have such a big, fat fucking ego. It's disgusting. You think anyone gives a fuck about you? It's actually the most freeing thing on the entire planet to know that you exist in these people's heads for 60 seconds and that's it. And you're too much of a pussy to even exist in someone's head for 60 seconds in a deliberately positive act of going to the gym and showing up for yourself just like they are, because you're afraid that they might judge you, as if that isn't a direct reflection of how much you judge other people. You make me sick. Oh my God. I can't go to the gym because other people look at me. No one gives a fuck about you. I'll give you a positive example because that was mean. Have you ever gone to the gym and you've judged someone and you were like, their outfit's stupid, or they're doing something dumb, or that person's using the machine wrong, I'm pretty sure, or they look ugly, or they this and that? Have you ever gone to the gym and thought something negative about someone? That person looks stupid. And then, has anyone ever been caught off guard? And that person says something nice to you? How did you feel afterwards, after you just thought something negative about them? I've done it. I've gone up to the gym, saw someone that I had a negative thought about, and then they ended up coming up to me and saying something nice. And I was like, fuck. And what do you do, obviously, out loud in person? You reciprocate something nice. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. How good do you feel afterwards? Really nice. So if you feel someone's judging you or is looking at you negatively, why don't you do something nice for them? You guys walking up to the towels or to wipe down your machine, why don't you hand them one? Why don't you introduce yourself? Why don't you say something cool? Why don't you make friends? You know what? Oh my gosh, you smell that? You're too much of a bitch. Fuck. You can smell it. See? It's simple. It's fear. It's you being, I want to eat it. It's stinky. It adds nothing to anyone besides you're just leaking negative energy. And people think the gym isn't a game of attitude, mindset, commitment, discipline, and wanting the best for yourself. Blows my mind. Please, please continually invest in your own mindset and continually invest in your own perspectives and think positively. Think and talk positively. Now let's talk about this little line graph I have here, and then I'm going to fucking dip. Most people hit this part of exponential progress when they begin to exercise, eat well, and talk nicely. And then what happens here, I call this the gray area. You know why? Refer back to number 2. Look outside. Look at the landscape. Most people are negative fat bitches. It's just a matter of fact. I'm not even trying to be an asshole. Most people have no clue. How? Do they go to the gym? Do they know what their protein goal is? Do they have positive self-talk about how they eat? Or do they sound helpless, negative, pessimistic, depressed? And are they complaining about things that they have control over? And do they do it? Usually not. So what happens is most people hit this gray area, and it's like a ceiling for your results because you're pessimistic again. You're like, why isn't everyone else doing this? Holy shit, most of the stuff out here is really not good for me. And you know what happens? The devil starts talking to you, and it sounds just like you. Man, maybe it's not for me. Is it even realistic? Am I going to get abs ever? Am I going to ever? And then this negative self-talk creeps in really, really slowly. And then all of a sudden it starts, I don't have the time today. I don't have the this. I don't have the that. As if that wasn't the test for you to continue all along. Have you ever heard fear is what if, faith is even if, effort combined with staying in your own lane equals unparalleled results? You would be surprised how much you can achieve as soon as you stay the fuck in your own lane and you pour into yourself and you stop comparing yourself to people. But you know what this is? This line that most people run into is the ego. It's comparison. It's pessimism. It's going, my environment really doesn't fit me. No, it doesn't. Most people are fat, sad, stupid. Matter of factly. Why? Because I would argue most intelligent life forms would not be treating themselves the way that most people treat them right now. Fuck. But here's the cool thing. How do you overcome this? You get around people who do it. You train your mind. You sleep well. You journal and you be deliberate. After a while, these thoughts will work for you and not against you. A couple of things that have really helped me is, who's that talking right now? Okay. Would I want to trade places like them? Because they want to go out and do all this shit? No, I wouldn't. Okay, do I want their results? No, I don't. Then I'm not going to fucking listen to them. The only people you should be listening to are people who are going to light the path up for you. This is why it's critical that you get around people in fitness that you like, that you love, that you appreciate, you resonate with, and they speak positively into your life. And with that being said, I love you, and I hope that fucking helps. Being fit is not egotistical. Being fit can be a little bit vain and selfish, and it can be definitely visually rewarding, but that's just the beginning of it. I would argue it equips you with a crown that you can wear on yourself that is built in self-confidence, knowing that you are a capable and competent individual who has the tools to increase themselves. And when you know that you can do one thing that you really at one point thought you didn't, it shows you and it gives you the belief that you can do many more things. And what is a life that is not one you want to exist in? One that you feel you're incapable. What is a life that you do want to exist in? One that you are capable in. I love you. I hope that finds you well. Message me on Instagram if you found this useful. And let's get fucking fit. Fuck these sad, depressed people. Show them the way. Love you. Bye.